We are fired up to have Coach Schroder. Obviously, most of you guys know him from our program. We worked with him at some point. Coach Schroder played professional lacrosse for a long time with me, and played at The Ohio State University, and led the team to a big win over Cornell, our first ever NCAA tournament win, and actually scored a goal. Was that the first goal of the game, Stefan?
Yeah.
Coast to coast, Schroder. He had a little bit more hair back then, but guys, obviously, Coach Schroder is somebody who is obviously was an amazing player, but is an amazing coach, and I'm really looking forward to having him break the film down. So I'm gonna let him talk for a minute here before he tells me to start navigating on the game film that he's got broken down for you guys tonight.
Awesome, thanks, Coach. And fellas, I know we just had a couple guys sign on. If you can, grab a piece of paper or pencil, notepad to be able to jot some notes down. Again, like we talked about, we're going to focus on 5 key areas: our balance in position, our readiness in the cage, attacking the shot, and our communication to the defense out in front of us. Coach, if you want to pull the game film up. So starting off right away, this first clip, right, even just our readiness before the game even starts, right, off of a face-off, we want to be communicating to the defense in front of us, right, who's point, who's left and right in case of a fast break coming our way. We also want to be ready for a situation like this where a ground ball is won back towards us, where we want to be able to pop out, and Coach, you can play this. We want to be ready to be an additional outlet for our face-off guys or wing players in a situation that they're under pressure. On this particular play, the ball doesn't go back to us, but Coach, you want to pause real quick? You'll notice, right, the goalie is breaking out ball side, right, ball side and below GLE. We don't want to stay above the cage where if that's a bad pass, we don't want to risk any opportunity of that guy throwing the ball into our own cage. So we're dropping back out, giving him an additional outlet, right, in case there was pressure underneath there. Notice, right, he's doing that even when there's nobody near the ball. So we never know where the direction the ball is going to go. We always want to be ready to react and go. Go ahead, Coach. We can play it right on through. So, again, in this situation, right, we want to be cautious about leaving the post too early, right? What happens there? And you can let this play here for a second, Bice, because they're going to replay the play. Right, we don't want to get what we like to call happy feet, right? We don't want to start dancing in situations, especially dangerous situations where a shooter's in a good position to potentially get a shot off, right? We want to maintain our balance like we're talking about, keeping our feet set and ready to attack the ball. Okay, you'll see here, right, when we do move, we want to try and reset our feet again. So when he steps off the pipe, right, we want to step off the pipe and get set and trust our body position and trust ourselves ready to react. We want to be cautious about getting too small, what we call double dipping, right? We don't want to get too small with our body while dipping and dropping our hands really low. Now, the beauty of this position is everybody plays the goalie position differently, right? But what we want to do, so these are more about guidelines, right? You want to play the way and style you feel most comfortable, but we also want to play within a way that's going to make us be most successful, right? So we, again, making sure that we're not dropping down and getting too low while dropping our hands, right? Ideally, right, we can dip and bend those knees because that's going to continue to keep us aggressive and ready to attack, right? But we want to try and stay big with our upper body where we're ready to spring, and we keep that muscle memory with our hands, right? Rather than dropping our hands where even though you're not thinking about it, right, our brain's sending signals to our hands to be able to attack the ball. One last thing off this, Coach, if you want to play just a bit longer right here, is we don't want what I like to call a sumo step, right, or a check mark step, right, is you can go to 210 back up there, buddies. So check mark step or a sumo step is kind of lifting your foot up and kind of kicking in the air towards the ball, right? Never forget that our main focus when we're stepping is to get our body moving to attack the ball, right? So you'll see here, you can play it down to like 212, another couple seconds here, buddies. You'll see, right, we pick our foot up, but our body and our core do not move to the ball, right? Again, part of that is having those happy feet and moving around and not being set ready to react. It's difficult for us to be able to get any explosive motion, okay? Right? We want to make sure, again, understand that our focus is to attack the ball with our body, right? We utilize our feet to do that. And the more, again, guys in our program, the more that you play the box goalie position as well, is what in shots in close like this, we almost want to attack that near post or whatever side, whatever pipe that shot is going towards as well, besides just attacking the ball here. Right, we'll get one more quick look through. One last thing as well, too, if carefully you'll notice right there of tapping that post, right? That's a lot of time to have to reset your hands in that position, right? Again, this comes off of trusting your feet and trusting your position and where you're at, right? And utilizing and saving your energy to be able to attack the ball. And we can go on to the next clip here, Bice. .228, yeah. So again, Trotner, I love the way that Trotner plays. He does a great job. Again, you'll see a lot of maintaining his body, right? His body position, or his hands instead are ready to go. One thing, right here, pause right here real quick, Bice. One thing though, right? Notice it's very tempting when shooters and players change direction or change their hands for us to want to move our body and adjust our positioning, right? One of the areas that we focus on in practice a lot or train a lot about is kind of playing what I like to call kind of our four slices of pie, right? Our right, top left, side left, right? And being set in that position for that location, right? So no matter what that player's doing in that area, right? As long as we're in a good position in the cage, right? We don't need to move and adjust for all the little minor details that go on here, right? Again, he does a good job of maintaining his hands up in a good position, but if you want to just slow play this place, what he does do, though, is you'll notice right as Rambo's getting ready to shoot, right, he takes that extra step and he's moving as that shot is released, right? So that, again, if you're moving, right, we're going to be late to react, right? In those moments, we want to save our energy. Again, we'll talk about that a lot. Save your energy to react to that shot, right? There is no perfect position. Right? It's better for us to be ready to react than worrying about moving that extra half an inch or an inch or 2 inches in position. Right? This is a great job of, and one of the things you can be doing here is communicating to the defense on the backside, right, as that's going on, or driving, or even telling him to not turn him, but to drive him away, right? Defenders, Coach Bison can attest to this, defenders are taught to turn their offensive player back at GLE. Once they get up to that 5-5 or 7-7, right, the great attackmen do this, right? They give themselves positioning to be able to roll back and still have angle to shoot on the cage, right? At that point, we don't want to have our defender turn that attackman back down low. We want to have him drive him out towards the wing and towards the sideline, drive him away from the cage, right? In this clip here, the goalie does a great job. That the pass comes from across, right? The goalie does a great job of moving all across his arc. Again, when we call the equator, right down the middle of the field, right? When that ball swings from the right side of the field to the left side of the field, we want to make sure that we're rotating our body and getting to the proper side of the cage. Bernlord does a great job of this, right? He recognizes his strength, noticing that he's going towards his stick side is towards the post. So he leaves some space off of that near pipe right there. So he's in good position to be able to react near side or far side. Right? He also does a good job of not losing sight of the ball and staying big and attacking the place, attacking where he goes. You can play it. Just keep rolling it to the next clip here, guys. Pause here. So again, screens. We don't see this nearly as much as you used to back in the day when they used to have kind of designated crease attackmen. But anytime that you are being screened, right? Again, notice you're like Trotner maintains his position, right? He has his hands up, he has his feet and his legs in a good stance, but also can kind of, if you can see me a little bit, right? We can kind of lean to look around the defender to be able to maintain our readiness, but also try and see the ball where it's released, right? Anytime that we lose sight of the ball off of a shot where we are screened, we want to try and get as big as possible and attack the last place that you saw the ball going. So if you see that shooter or that release going low and you lose sight of the ball, he's shooting into a lot of traffic, we want to get our body low and try and smother up that low space. You can play it up to the next to 46 here, boys. One of my biggest pet peeves right here. Your pause there. No statue outlet passing, fellas, right? If that guy is inside the restraining box and he's within 10, 15 yards of us, right, that's not a bad pass. But we shouldn't be trying to throw that ball up into a fast break situation through a statue, right? You'll notice right there, if we bring it back just 1 second, you'll notice that midfielder is dropping his stick and leaning back because that pass is slow, is behind him, right? We would rather overthrow than underthrow an outlet pass, fellas, right? Any outlet pass that is underthrown is going to come back to us in transition like this play does. The other thing, if you play it out right, 1 more second here, Bryce, pause it. You'll notice up near the NBC logo, right, there's another defender there as well too, right? This is an option, right? Again, when you're looking up, we want to scan the field, right? Think of the markers at the midfield line, right? Check where the shot came, what side of the field the shot came first. That's our first look. And we scan across the middle of the field to the opposite side of the field to scan our options, right? If there's a player running towards the box, right, that's an opportunity. He had 2 outlets that he could have gone to there. But again, at the end of the day, right, make sure that we're getting our body more involved. Think of like a quarterback in football, right? They don't change their mechanics with their hands. They get their body more involved when they're throwing those long passes rather than short passes. You can just play it from here, Bryce. Again, we do a good job of not changing our positioning. We want to make shooters have to change for us. You don't want to have to change for every single shooter, right? If we change for every single shooter and trying to adjust our position, right, we're not going to build that confidence and that consistency in our goalie play, right? We want to make shooters have to adjust for us and continue to build that muscle memory and that confidence in your skills. Pause right there. He does a great, again, right? He sees the ball, immediately gets into position, right? Near side post to cover up, and be ready to attack, and you can play it here. And then anything inside of 7 yards especially, our body takes up more space in the cage than our stick does. We want to make sure that we're aggressive attacking the ball with our body, not just our hands. We can roll up to the next one. Again, off of a feed from below GLE, especially, we want to try to avoid hitting the post, right? You'll notice, keep it here, right? You'll notice he does a great job. Again, positionally, we want to drive that heel into the post, right? Drive that heel into the post to help get us set and locked into position, right? That we can use our feet, kind of like a hockey goalie, right? Kind of like a box goalie, using our arms, using our hands to be able to feel where we are in the cage, right? It doesn't always have to be that stick, right? We can kick that heel over when we set into position to give us that extra added confidence in knowing we are in the cage, right? As you get higher and higher up in the level of lacrosse, again, obviously these are the best players in the world, right? That split second, that half a second that you're tapping your stick and getting in ready position, that ball is going to be released and you're going to be late to react, right? So digging our feet in, being ready, having that heel on the post and being ready to see that ball react is crucial, especially off of a shot like that. And bounce up to 408, Bryce. You got a little bit of a any shot off of the ground, right? You'll hear me preach this in another couple clips up here. Any shot off the ground, we must attack body first, right? We cannot rely on our stick on shots off the ground, right? Just like shots in close, our body's going to take up more of the cage, right? Our stick is our first line of defense. Obviously, nobody likes getting hit with the ball, but I'd rather get hit with the ball than give up the goal, right? We have our hands are our first line of defense. Our bodies are our second line of defense. Too many times guys rely, again, whether it's you're in middle school and you've had the opportunity to kind of get away with that a little bit, and then you go up to high school and the shots are a little bit faster, or whatever the case may be, right? We want to always play to continue to improve, not play down to the level and competition that you're facing. We can slow play this here, right? Again, this is a great view of, pause right there, rewind just a little bit. So you'll see, right, we want to try to avoid, again, not just dropping our hands, but collapsing our hands into our body, right? We want to keep those hands out in front of our face, right? When we collapse those, if you pause it, you can see his elbows are into his body, right? So that he's handcuffing himself at that point, right? We're jamming ourselves up. We want to keep those hands free, right? Again, we know, there's opportunities or times where you're going to see hard shots coming in from inside 7-8 yards, right? That's the most important time for us to keep those hands up so that we can have as quick of reactions as possible to the ball. The other thing is you can see we buckle our knees a little bit here, inward. We want to stay strong with those legs, right? And stay strong in our position, ready to string an attack, right? One of the things I like to say is we want to use that fear as fuel to attack the ball, right? Use that fear of getting hit with the ball as fuel to stay ready and be aggressive. We also want to bottle that energy up and release it on the shot. We can jump up to 604. Here's a great example of actually being patient. Right, this is off of a fast break. Again, Bernlohr gets set, he holds, right? We wait till the ball is released before we react, right? If you show your hands, again, a lot of you guys are younger, you've never played cards before, but if you've ever played cards, right, you don't want to show your hand before the other player does, right? If you start to react and move early, right, that player is just going to play off of your reaction and your movement, and he's going to toy with you, right? We want to stay strong, stay patient. That's where the mental battle comes in between you and that offensive player, right? When you hold your ground and stay strong, all of a sudden that shooter starts to second guess himself and has to start overthinking where he's going to shoot the ball. And he's either going to shoot the ball wide or you're going to be in a great position to be able to react and make that save. Here, we can go up to the next clip here, buddies. Again, that's kind of that. Here we again, hard, difficult shot, but this is outside. This is a two-pointer, right? This is outside 12, 15 yards. We need anything outside of 12 yards. We need to react with our feet, right? That's something we preach about. Is doesn't matter if the shot's high, hip, or low. The step is the same, right? We still need to be stepping and moving our body. Right. One of the keys that we don't want to do is we want to try and avoid getting to full extension with our hands, because any inch after full extension, we have to pull our body along, which is going to significantly slow your reaction down in your hand speed. Right. Even if you get a half a step and get your body. So again, it's not about just our feet. Right. Our other key is our shoulders. Get our body moving with the shot. Is attacking the ball with our body in that situation, right? Hands and feet reacting together, right? We rely on those hands. You may get lucky, you may make that save, but more times than not with better shooters, they're going to make you pay for that. Again, this is off of a one-on-one, right? This is great patience here by Bernlohr in a one-on-one, right? He's set, he's holding his ground, right? Again, this is one of those times. At this moment, all the pressure should be on, even though feels like a pressure situation for us, all the pressure should be on that offensive player. They should score 9 times out of 10. So the pressure's on them to execute, right? The pressure's on us is to rob and steal that save, right? He actually does a great job of tracking the ball, getting his hands low, but what we do not do is we don't finish that save right there, right? We don't need to catch the ball, right? We need to stop the ball, right? Nothing in our job description says we got to catch it. We just got to stop it, right? We don't want to catch the ball on the ground. We want to punch those hands, what I like to call close the gate, punch and drive those hands into the ground, and beat and not meet the ball there, but beat the ball to that spot, fellas. The situation coming up, and this happens with a lot of goalies, especially as we get tired, right? Again, this is fourth quarter in the summer, right? Hot weather, right? We start to get a little bit tired. We start to get a little bit lazy in our positioning, right? Trotner gets kind of caught on his heels, leaning back and resting in on his heels a little bit. It's hard to be aggressive attacking the ball when we get caught on our heels. That's when we start to kind of retreat and fall back in our positioning, right? When that starts to happen, right, it's more important that we keep that chest and our nose over our toes, right? We want to keep that straight back in that good positioning, but we want to keep our body in an aggressive attacking position. One of the keys here too, just while we're playing up here, playing through to the next clip, up to 8:06 here, boys. You can pause it at. One of the keys as well too is always like to equate anybody who has a dog at home, who's ever played fetch with their dog, right? When you're going to throw that ball, they're not thinking, oh, he's going to go throw it near that tree. He's going to go throw it near that tree. They're thinking, where's the ball? Where's the ball? Where's the ball? There it is, and then they go and fetch it. For us as goalies, we need to, again, the more we can simplify things, right? The less we think, the quicker we react, right? Focus on where's the ball, seeing the ball in his stick, and then reacting. Don't think about where he's going to shoot. Focus on seeing the ball and being ready to aggressively attack to where the ball is. Again, this is a great example, again, of double dipping. I know Bernlor plays this style. He likes to get low. He likes to bait those higher shots. It's a risk-reward situation here, right? He dips down and drops low, right? We show up a lot of space in front of us. Again, there's nothing wrong with dipping and staying set, but we want to stay strong in the style of play that you like to play. If you like to dip and bend and kind of bait to shoot for them to shoot high, there's nothing wrong with that. But once we dip, we need to lock those knees in place, right? Dip and hold our position and trust ourselves. It's usually a lot of times it's that extra drop in motion that's going to cost us in there. Bryce, you want to jump up to 4 or 9/11? Again, another great camera view here, though, but again, an outside shot. He gets set in his position, right? He's ready to spring, but again, not attacking with that body, relying on our hands, right? As you get tired, that's where we need to rely on our body even more to be aggressive and try and have that second line of defense to try and get the ball, right? Whatever we can use to make that save, right? Even if it's skimming off our shoulder, off our thigh, off our ankle, whatever it is, right, to stop the ball, that we're doing whatever we can at that moment. I like to call that full body save, right? Hands, feet, and core, which is our chest protector, moving to the ball. When players get to the middle of the field, again, we want to limit ourselves to one step, right? One step being a position adjustment, right? So when he gets in the middle of the field, we take that step to readjust our position. After that, right, we want to hold our ground. We take that extra step. Again, great shooters are taught when that goalie's moving, that's when he's most vulnerable, right? For you young grasshoppers, it's like trying to catch a fly. When a fly's walking, that's when he's ready to be caught. When he's standing still, that's when he's ready to fly away, right? Take that step, hold our position, trust ourselves, even in those situations where the pressure's on. Trust in your position ready to react and stay balanced, and you're going to give yourself a great chance to make that save. Our last clip here, again, trying to limit ourselves to one step in our adjustments, right? Stepping off the post. This is again difficult shot to make to save in close like this, but we want to think of like a receiver in football, right? They like to try and go out there and catch that ball and drive those hands to the ball. We don't want to make that save into our body, right? Again, nothing against it. Obviously, it's a difficult shot, but in close, we want to rely on that body. The closer they are to the cage, where the more we're not stepping to the shooter, the more our step becomes lateral and we're stepping to the post, right? You're going to cover more ground and give yourself a greater chance to make that save by stepping to the post right there, right? And then again, driving that top hand and that stick to the ball. This is also a situation where we want to make sure that we're communicating to our defense, right? Where a guy, again, a great player who's kind of beaten us a little bit in that situation, we want to make sure that we're communicating for our defense to slide in that situation as well.
Hey, Schroder, that was awesome. We got 3 to 4 minutes here before we're going to kick into defense. I want to open it up to
any questions at all.
Any questions for Coach Schroder? Either unmute yourself or go ahead and type it in the chat. Guys, this is something I'm going to recommend. This breakdown was so good for me as somebody who doesn't play the goalie position, just to learn. We're going to send this out to everybody on YouTube. They get the links every week. We do that. You know, this is something I encourage you guys to watch and to study and to just hear Coach Schroder's words and really to continue to break it down. So let's open it up. Does anybody got any questions? Feel free to unmute yourself, or you can raise your hand, or go ahead and chat.
Trent.
When you kind of focused on screenshots a little bit earlier.
Yes.
What I notice when I'm getting screen is more on the alley, and it's kind of hard to like get my head around because there's so many